6 over Terrafly runway heading runway 5. Clear for takeoff.
From Psychic Sundays to E.T. Contact and everything in between, this is Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with host Elizabeth Anglin.
Check it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Having great show, guys. Smoke now.
You can connect with Elizabeth on Skype at 505-908-9558 and Spirit for Peace. Follow Liz on Twitter at Elizabeth Anglin and hashtag SpacedOutRadio. And you can connect with us on the web at spacedoutradio.com.
I feel the need for speed.
You feel it over and over again. We take you higher and higher and higher. You feel it over and over again.
Chills, real now. Smoke off now.
This is the love we live again.
Chills, real now. Contact. Easing up. Chills, real now. Real now. One level.
Don't look much like Los Angeles to me. I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Now taking you on a spiritual journey from the desert of New Mexico this Sunday night, here's Spaced Out Sunday's Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin.
Chills, ready to check it out. Contact. Chills, turn now. Smoke off now. Chills, ready to let your boy try. Speak now. Chills, turn now.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Cosmic Passport and Psychic Sunday. I am your host, Elizabeth Anglin, coming to you from the Spaced Out Radio Cosmic Cruise Mobile. We are coming to you live from the deliciously wild and wacky desert southwest, Madrid, New Mexico, as we do every Sunday here on spacedoutradio.com. For all of you living and listening in from around North America and the world, I want to welcome everyone listening from WQEE 99 Rock the Key in Noonan, Georgia, at spacedoutradio.com on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, and the High Plains Talk Radio Network. Thanks so much for being here. We also want to thank our guitar god, Ron BUMBLEFOOT THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy. He creates the music that makes Spaced Out Radio Weekend rock, the official spacedoutradio.com music. You can check us out on Twitter if you like to Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio Show. On Facebook, you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Tune us in on TuneIn. Download our shows from iTunes. We are also on Radio Guide FM, TalkStream Live, and on Stitcher. And of course, our website is spacedoutradio.com. If you go to patreon.com, we have some really neat stuff there for our listeners too. Make sure you look at it and check it out. If you want to take part in the show, you'll have to sign into one of our chat rooms on Spreaker or on the chat room on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club. And if you head to our website, spacedoutradio.com, for just $5 a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. We offer some pretty decent stuff, and it's our opportunity to give back to you. If you like to read about stuff that happens in the paranormal, the encounter that deals with everything paranormal is our news section. And it comes to you courtesy of our editors, Eric Markham and Everett Thiemer. And you can check out Dave Scott's latest blog there as well. If you've had an experience that you can't explain and you're getting anxious about it and things just aren't going for you right, fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our researcher is ready to find out what's going on with you, and we want to tell you that it's safe to do that. We're not going to publicize it. We're here for you, the listener. We're here for the experiencer, and that's just the way we roll at spacedoutradio.com. Thanks so much for being here, everybody, tonight. I have a wonderful friend, a wonderful guest, Ms. Robin Fink, who is an evolutionary astrologer, and I'm so happy that she's on tonight. This is the night of the Lion's Gate. Robin has been doing some amazing things in her life as a nurse, as a cancer researcher, an immunology researcher, and as a healing touch practitioner in the nursing field. And just recently, she's been working more with people with her intuitive abilities and with animals with her intuitive abilities. She grew up with a scientist father and a nurse mother and was introduced early to logical and practical thinking. And you would think, well, why would an intuitive be logical and practical? And I can tell you, because you have to have something to anchor that intuition with, and Robin has that in spades. She is a continuous metaphysical seeker. She has been expanding her mosaic of skills to include Reiki healing and animal communication. And she's one of my favorite people and one of my animal communication students, Robin Fink. Robin, thank you so much for being here. And how are you? Hang on, folks, 1 second. We seem to not have Robin with us, and we are going to look and see if we can get her on. Hold on 1 minute. Okay. There's going to be a little dead air space. It's par for the course every time we do something the first time on Spaced Out Radio. Give me a second, guys. While we wait for Robin, I want to let everybody know that we are now on KTLK The Fringe FM, and we want to welcome in everyone who is listening there and let you know that we are here for you on spacedoutradio.com. In just a minute, I think we might have Robin coming in now.
Hello.
Here we go. Hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you? I thought I was waiting for you to get with me on Skype. I was.
Yeah, it took us a little while to get it together. Can you turn your volume up just a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, that's as high as I can go.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Robin, you are on the air. We were a little late to get you on the air, so but we're on now. I've already done your introduction. So I guess what I want to talk to you about, you're a nurse. You were a nurse in your life for how long?
I was a nurse for, I would say can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, great. For about 15 years. And I had another career before I became a nurse, but figured out that I needed to be doing things with people. And so I went back to school to get another degree in nursing and found myself in the middle of the craziness of critical care nursing, and it was great. So that was the beginning of my finding my niche, I think you could say.
Oh, wonderful. Did you ever find when you were nursing that you intuitively knew certain things were going to happen with people, like they were healing or they weren't healing or anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Interestingly enough, one of the things that would come to me, and I think it being in these experiences that heighten your senses makes you a little bit more aware, is that you'd walk into a room to see a patient, and you would feel there would be this sort of palpable feeling of, I better really pay attention here because I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. And not every time, but many times it was really good that you had that insight or that you listened to your intuition, because you needed to be prepared for the unexpected, and it did happen. So I think that was a really wonderful beginning to me, awakening to sort of the sixth sense that we all have.
Neat. Now, did you find many doctors were open to this, or were they pretty much closed down?
They weren't particularly open to it, but not in a traditional sense, the way that those of us who do work with it understand it. But they would get that you had the feeling and that you had great sort of gut instinct. They loved that, but they didn't really want to talk about where that came from. For the most part, yeah. But we're grateful that you were there. Are you still there? Hello? Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Okay.
You're on the East Coast. Where do you mainly work now as an intuitive?
I work out. I live outside of Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, and I actually work. I actually work a lot now with stones and crystals, in addition to my intuitive work. And I'm lucky to find that we have a little village near us that is very open to the metaphysical. So it's kind of a cool experience to be here, and people find us even though we're not really on the radar. So what I do is I work predominantly with people as an intuitive counselor regarding astrology, mostly evolutionary astrology, which I can explain a bit about what that is, because sometimes people say, well, what is that? And I work in healing arts in terms of healing touch. As you know, I'm developing my Reiki skills and animal communication skills. So that's predominantly where I'm working with that at this point.
Wow. So what is evolutionary astrology?
Okay. Evolutionary astrology, there's lots of different styles of practicing astrology, and it's been around for astrology predates astronomy. So it was the science du jour years and years before astronomy ever became a science. And it really developed out of earlier cultures who understood that the stars have an energy about them, and that are part of our energy. And so in the path of evolutionary astrology, unlike some other styles, which there's all different valid styles. But this is taking these energies that we actually come into the world with. I like to think of it when we come into the world, it's almost like a branding that we have, and that's our natal map of what happens, what are those energies that were right there when we were born, and then what can you do with those as you evolve through your life. It's less predictive, although there's an element of that, but it's mostly you having the control over these energies, saying, I recognize what they are. If I can understand what they are, then I can use them to my benefit and to the benefit of those people around you. So it's a very empowering way to use the information, and really kind of exciting, and very exciting in these times that we're in right now, because I think we're on the precipice of really moving into another dimension. And for us to feel empowered about that is a really great thing. So that's essentially the difference. In terms of predictive astrology, can tell us some things about what might happen in the immediate future, possibly, and relatively well. But evolutionary astrology just takes another side of things and just decides that, there's something beyond just what's happening today and tomorrow. And there's also information that comes to us before we actually become a human being on this earth. So it's a little bit more metaphysical, I think, than people might think. So it kind of talks to reincarnation, if, that type of experience.
Oh, wow, that's neat. So if you had a couple of people, do you ever read reincarnation issues for couples?
You can, and there are certain triggers in this map that I'm talking about. Everybody has one. There's think of it as a pie divided into 12 pieces, and we look at ourselves as with where the planets were surrounding what might be us as the Earth, I guess you could say, and what was happening on the horizon as we were being born, which is what we consider to be our rising sign. Or our ascendant, and then where our sun is, where our moon is, and the rest of the planets that we normally think of in our solar system. And in this case, we always consider Pluto still as a planet. And there's also more being added as we find these planets and understand their energies. But what we do in evolutionary astrology, we look at all of those energies, but we also look at something called the nodes of the moon. And the nodes of the moon are actually not planets, but they're mathematical points that we look at where the moon moves on the horizon, up and down on the what they call the ecliptic, which is if you took the Earth and you cut a swath horizontally all the way through, that's what the ecliptic would be. And there's different energies that present themselves when the moon makes these movements. So from our perspective as astrologers who look at that information, that's how we determine how you came in, what energies did you come in with, what were the sort of lessons that you need to learn in this lifetime, and where does your soul want to go. So these are called the south node of the moon and the north node of the moon. And the south node are those energies that you come in with, if you believe in that, in reincarnation, or you could simply say it's what you brought in with your birth, into the energies of the family that you came into, that sort of thing. And then we are always moving in the polar opposite direction. Our soul wants to move in the other direction. So what are those energies that propel us there? Because we're obviously here in this 3D situation that we all are in to be able to learn and grow and move into something else. So, I mean, that's, I think, what most people hope for if they believe in something other than just what we're experiencing now. So looking at that, you can look at it with regard to two people, because you can look at the energies and how they interplay and how they intersect, and almost like an overlay on a chart. If you were doing an overhead projection, you can overlay those energies and see how they align or how they may challenge one another, that kind of thing. So it's a really kind of an interesting thing to do, and it often is very eye-opening for people when you start to speak of some of these kinds of things and how their life is played out in a way that may have been less intentional. And so it allows us to bring more intention into our life and more control, frankly.
So it gives us more power, basically, just to as somebody with very limited self-controlling mechanisms, and I'm joking, but sometimes it doesn't feel that way. It's like, I could do astrology and sort of map it out. Got it. I have a question. Tonight is a specifically interesting night. Is there a lunar eclipse tonight? And isn't this Lionsgate? Or are we going into the Lionsgate?
We're getting ready. We actually, the door has opened. And what I was going to suggest is that we have a lot of cosmic weather happening. And I thought that it might be interesting to just sort of talk a little bit about that. Because speaking about all of these energies and having the opportunity to be intentional about what we do with it, we're really there's the most wonderful opportunity to sort of focus our energy on what does that mean? What does that really mean for me? I know that it's the cosmos out there, and I know the universe is trying to talk to me, but what is the universe saying, and how does it affect me in my life? So it's really a threefold event. And in some ways, it's this threefold event that happens yearly, but it is more intensified this year. It's almost like we're on steroids this year, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So the first thing, you're absolutely right. We're getting ready for a lunar eclipse, partial eclipse, and that is going to happen actually tomorrow. It's going to happen 2:11 p.m. Eastern Time, but it's actually going to happen at 11:11 Pacific Time, which I thought is there's so many synchronicities with numerology with some of this that we can't overlook that there are no coincidences. So this is really a powerful opening of, as all lunar eclipses are, or all new moons, full moons, and certainly eclipses are points at which the universe is asking us to let go of things that no longer serve us. And when you're talking about the moon in terms of an eclipse, it is this energy of wanting to recognize the things that we often keep hidden or are hidden, even hidden from us, maybe in our subconscious, that we allow to come out and recognize and admit to and release. So it's a time of releasing during this lunar eclipse, which is a fabulous way to open the portal to the Lion's Gate, because the Lion's Gate is an annual event that happens every August, and that's actually the reason it's called the Lion's Gate, is because it happens during Leo season. So in the zodiac sign of Leo, Leo is this time of Leo is the sign of being courageous. Think the lion, courageous and open and full of vitality and just almost ferocious, but it not necessarily in a destructive way, although it could be and can be and often is. It more to the point, it's this idea of being courageous and stepping forward courageously with a lot of vitality and illumination. So Leo, the other interesting thing about Leo rules the sun in astrology. So here is an opportunity for the sun. We're in the sign of the sun, with our sun being aligned with Sirius, which is the brightest star in our ability to see. It's not the brightest star in the galaxy, but it is the closest brightest star to us, and it is 2 times the size of our sun. So it is a sun. It's a binary star actually, but it is since it is one of the closest stars to us. It has a lot of energy and pulls towards us, and when it's aligned with our sun, it allows us to look at things in a more. It just opens our eyes. It makes things more clear. It opens a pathway for energies to come, like a download or an encoding, you might want to say, of information. So this is an opportunity that we get every year, but this year the universe in its wisdom, in her wisdom, his wisdom, is telling us that we really need to pay attention. We really should pay attention. It's an opportunity to really open our eyes to the fact that, first of all, we're not the only people in the universe. We're not the only entities in the universe. And so it's an idea of more, a stronger connection to the universe. And one of the most interesting things that I thought for this evening that might be of interest to your listeners is that because of this download of energy and this alignment and attunement that we have the opportunity for, is that this is a time where what we call, quote unquote, the veil thins, where it's the opportunity to cross dimensions, specifically with regard to astral travel, and frequencies blur and dimensions blur, and it can also give us the opportunity to see the appearance of more extraterrestrial activity, especially to sensitive people who find themselves in places or experiences where they're more sensitive to it. So we have this opportunity. It's exciting, and it does happen every year. But this year, it's particularly important because of this lunar eclipse. And then finally, the last piece is the solar eclipse on the 21st of August, which is going to happen in Leo at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time and 11:30 a.m. Pacific Time. So that's really the ending piece of it. It's almost like the fireworks at the end, where we all of a sudden we realize we've encoded these downloads, we've been open to the possibility, we've released what we need to release, and now we're going to burn away what, metaphorically speaking, burn away anything that doesn't need to remain with us into something new. So it's just this really beautiful energy that we don't often get an opportunity to see all the time. And I'm sure that there are many people listening who have felt these energies and are feeling these energies, and we've been running up to it. The portal to Lionsgate started on the 3rd of August, and the portal will open fully on the 8th, and that is actually an 888 day if we do the numerology, and then it will close on the 12th of August. But as everything is in the cosmos, it's almost like a bell curve. There's a riding up to it, and then there's a shadow period after it. So the eclipse is really the ending point. So the ending point of this whole energetic opening and for possibility is really a 3-week period for people to sort of take some time and think about this and use the energy really wisely. One other really key point that puts this all on steroids is that on the 21st, there will be cosmically, there will be 3 planets aligned in a triangle, which we call a trine. And that's a harmonious alignment of energies, which means we have this opportunity, this really wonderful opportunity to use this energy in a really positive way. Fire, as we all know, fire can be something that can provide growth. It's the spark of inspiration. We light a fire. We can warm ourselves in the wintertime. We light a fire. We cook our food. It's a very life-giving entity, but it can also take life, and it can also be very destructive. So the idea here is that the universe has given us a sign in this triangle, in this trine, that use this energy clearly and harmoniously and lovingly, because Leo is also the sign of the heart. So there's all of these messages that we're getting through these energies that is just really, really beautiful. I think that lastly, the piece that's most impactful to those who, or the majority of those who are listening, is that in North America, this is where this eclipse is happening. So we are sort of at ground zero of we would want to be using that energy in the most positive way for all of us in terms of positive, moving our consciousness forward and that kind of thing. So it's really, really exciting, and I hope people will sort of take a little bit of time and think about that.
So I want to give you a case study. We have a recent birthday person, Joe. Joe Allgaier, who is in our SOR Space Travelers chat room. His birthday was at the beginning of last week. So if you were he or him, how would you look at this time? What would you expect?
Okay. Because I don't know all the specifics, I'll speak to it a bit generically, but so it won't be exact, but everybody, we are able to look at the energies by zodiac sign as a general energy, and so I can do that. Okay. So in terms of looking at this, at his energy, he would be a Leo, sun sign. So
he's a double Leo Virgo rising.
Ah, okay. So he has a Leo moon as well. Okay. So what we're saying here, so we're speaking openly so everyone understands that there is the sun is in Leo, the moon is in Leo, and Virgo is rising. So that means that is the planet or the constellation that was on the horizon as he was being born. So having all that Leo energy is almost just a fabulous experience. I'm sure he's feeling these energies, I would suspect, and these are all really impactful in terms of viscerally, in terms of how he's experiencing things. If I knew a little bit more, I could tell you exactly, but generally, the energies that he'll be experiencing are going to be in the environment of who he is. You know, how is he in the world? What's his vitality? How does he express himself in the world? And these are sort of the questions you put to yourself when you're thinking about the energies. How am I going to be the best? How am I going to do me in the best way that I possibly can? So that's the sun energy. That's the active energy. And if that's the active energy, then the more inward, receptive energy is going to be the energy of the moon. And in this case, the moon is actually going to be in the sign of Aquarius, which during this period of the lunar release, it's in Aquarius, which is a very independent sign. It's the sign of almost the sign of the rebel. So it's this idea of, being someone who can stand alone and deal with things on their own, not really wanting to be a part of a group necessarily, but really know their own truth. And in this case, that's happening in the environment of partnership. And when I'm talking about these environments, we call them houses in the astrology wheel. But there's certain places where your planets will sit at different times, and it will speak to you more specifically about what's going on in your life. So in this particular case, the energy of the moon, it's going to express itself in that vitality that I spoke of, but it's also going to have this flavor of independence around speaking about your partnerships, and that can be business partnerships, personal partnerships, but committed kinds of partnerships or long-term friendships that are considered to be partnerships. So what I'm saying is there will be some tension, a little bit of tension between what it feels to be you, doing the best you, but how do you do that and still remain independent in partnership? So those are the kinds of things to think about. How to sort of inwardly evolve and remain independent, but also be open to the duality and the compromise that is required in being compassionate in a partnership. So thinking about those kind of things and releasing the things that don't serve you about that, or don't serve yourself about how you may have behaved or may have been at other times in your life, how that can evolve for you. Those are all personal types of questions that I would suggest to someone if I were, were reading for them, as I'm doing this generalized for you here.
Wow. Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
That's very helpful. So What I'd like to do is go through some of the sun signs and what they can expect. If you're in this SOR Space Travelers, feel free to throw out if you know what your sun sign is, and we'll pick them that way, so we don't have to go through all 12. I'm going to throw out mine. I'm a Capricorn. And
I was actually going to use you as a
do it.
Yours. I knew yours. So
yeah.
So just as a point of reference for people, I'd be happy to do yours. I just got to get to my pages here. Hold on. So as we know, Elizabeth is a Capricorn. So generalized for her, Capricorn, as we know it, Capricorn is it's an earth sign. So all of the signs have an affiliation with an element, meaning water, earth, fire, and air. And so Capricorn is considered to be an earthy sign, very solid, very grounded. I like to think of the Capricorns as having this sort of archetype of the hermit or Father Time, being very ambitious, solid in themselves, knowing what they need from themselves, not waiting for other people to give them praise, although it's welcome, but it isn't necessary. And they're usually always very successful, and very successful because they know themselves. And why that makes them successful is it allows them to be free. And they're very freedom-oriented sorts of people. And it provides them with a sense of feeling a great deal of integrity about themselves, satisfaction. There are always two sides to every coin, and that's the positive end of it. So the positive would be that you would have those feelings. Sometimes Capricorns can often struggle with solitude because they like themselves. They like to be by themselves, and so integrating themselves in community can be somewhat of a challenge at times in their life. So just knowing those kinds of things helps you balance yourself in the middle and come to equilibrium about the energies available. So in this case, the moon in Aquarius in Capricorn, with Capricorn energy, is going to find itself in the first house.
Oh, wait,
so it's going to look...
my moon's in Virgo. And
it is, but your moon, but right now for the lunar eclipse, we're thinking about where is your moon sitting right now? Because where your moon is now is where is the energy that that's being expressed in your sign. Does that make sense?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So yes, you are absolutely right, Elizabeth. Your moon is in Virgo. It is in your natal chart. It is. Everyone has planets that do not move from their natal chart, but the planets are always on the move. So they transit around what your natal chart is. So right now, the moon is going to be it's in Aquarius for everyone, and so what's flavored by it is this Capricorn energy, your sun energy. So that's what I'm trying to read here for everyone is the idea of during this lunar eclipse to allow for the release for us to get through the Lion's Gate. We want to think about where is that happening in my life that I could use those energies most wisely. Does that make sense?
Yes. And okay, so go on with what you were saying. And also if you could do it toward relationship, that would be cool too, like partnership, if there's anything there.
Okay. Well, in your particular case, the energy of the moon is actually in your first house, and so it is. It's going to be about you being very similarly to what I said prior, is because sometimes the moon is going to be in the same houses for a few of the signs, and in this case it is. So it's you understanding what this independent moon means in this house of self, how to let go of issues which don't promote your personal identity, things that maybe keep you from you becoming who you need to be and allowing you to have a clear direction and purpose, because that's a really important thing for Capricorn energies. So to be self-assured and to let go of any fears that you have about self-assuredness, that can cause you to lose yourself. And how that would speak to partnership is that this idea of being solid and secure in oneself and not losing oneself to the partnership. In other words, being two complete wholenesses that come together to make a partnership. So that's how I would read that energy for you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you see anything else in that?
In there, well, one thing I do see during this energy is that you have some fabulous Jupiter energy, and because Jupiter is sitting at the highest point on your chart, which it's almost like at high noon, which means we call that your midheaven. And that is it's in a really, it is the most outward place for Jupiter to sit. And Jupiter is like Santa Claus. He can be this wonderful, giving, benevolent, huge giver of gifts. He can also be excess. So, there's two sides to the coin, so one must balance. But in your case, in this particular energetic of the chart, Jupiter is transiting through Libra, so that is the sign of balance. So that's on your side. So that's probably the most beautiful thing I see here.
Wonderful. So if you were me and you were going to take advantage of the energy of this time between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse with the Lion's Gate and the 888, what would be the top thing or top three things that you would do over the next couple of weeks?
What I would do is I would take some time. What this sort of screams meditation to me. With the moon in the first house is, be kind to yourself, love yourself. What are you doing? Pamper yourself. Do some nice things for yourself. Make a list of what is it that you like about yourself? What is it that you're unhappy with about yourself? Come to an agreement about what you can do about those things, and then the lunar eclipse is about letting go of those things that you feel you've either worked very diligently on and you want to let go of, or you feel you must let go of because you've done all you can, and make that be okay for you. Allow yourself to be in a place of self-awareness, self-love, self-identity, a place where you can feel comfortable. It's really often very hard for people who are used to caring for other people, and I'm kind of at an advantage because I know a little bit about your chart. And with a moon in Virgo, you in your natal chart, I know you're prone to being a person who's nurturing and caring for others and being of service to others. So when we often give so much of ourselves to others, we become depleted. So this moon in Aquarius in the first house is a wonderful gift from the universe to say, release everything that doesn't serve. Release everything that isn't nurturing for you as well, because you are as worthy as all of the other people who you're caring for. So just do take time for yourself and take a sea salt bath. That would be my recommendation.
I'll pretend I'm a crystal and I'll go roll around in sea salt and
there you go. There you go.
Christopher on the SOR Space Travelers chat room says he's an Aquarius, Cancer, Moon, Gemini rising. What should he know?
Okay. What was the sun sign again? I apologize.
Aquarius.
Okay.
And he's a Cancer moon and a Gemini rising.
Okay. Okay. In this case, what I would say with Aquarius as ruling the chart, I would say you've got a lot of that independent energy because the moon right now is in your sun sign. So even though that isn't where your natal moon is, it is the energy of what the moon is happening right now. So for the lunar eclipse, I would say you likely have a really good sense about who you are as an individual. I would say that's something that's very important to you. You might be a person that is you might be a bit rebellious or thought of as a revolutionary in some capacities. But I only say that because that's the archetype of the energy, and I certainly don't know you. But the idea that you are, I guess, the easiest one-line way of putting it would be, to thine own self be true. You know how to do that. You are the embodiment of human freedom and individuality. That is the essence of your sun sign. So with the moon showing up with the energy of that same archetype, you are going to find yourself also in a place of being thinking about how the energies play out for you. It's, first of all, the moon is familiar to this. Probably it's you're Aquarian energy. You understand it, so your active personality energy and your receptive emotional energy are going to be very much in alignment during this time of the eclipse, which can be very helpful in terms of moving you forward with regard to letting go of things like how you are in groups of people. Often Aquarian energy are those people who maybe feel a little bit outside of groups, or say, well, that group doesn't speak for me, or I don't align with that way of thinking. I have my own way of thinking. And it's really what allows us to move forward. Aquarian energy is also considered to be genius energy. The planet the planet that's aligned with Aquarian energy is Uranus, and Uranus is that lightning bolt, flashbulb, Albert Einstein kind of energy, which is someone who can think beyond into the future, further away than most of us can. And so we all need those kinds of people. So the challenge for you is in understanding what your energy does with regard to yourself, your individuality, and then how does that affect your experience with groups, and how, because we're mammals, we're communal organisms. And so making that sort of negotiation with that and sort of digging deep into yourself about those kinds of things without becoming, sometimes there can be some stubborn energy there about, I know what feels right, I know what feels comfortable to me. And with these two energies of the sun and the moon in your very comfortable sign, some uncomfortable things possibly might come up as you think about these questions. So I would say the big challenge would be retaining your freedom while figuring out how do you fit with your community, your family, any of those groups that you find yourself aligned with, your crowd of people, your tribe, that kind of thing. How to share yourself while remaining independent and free. So that's kind of the energy that's happening for your sign, your sun sign.
That's great. I know Christopher pretty well, and that really sounds like a Christopher. That sounds like Christopher, as far as I know him.
Good.
So,
I'm glad.
Yeah. So in terms of the larger world, when we're looking at sort of macro evolutions and macro astrological influences, what do you think this influence of the lunar eclipse in Leo and the solar eclipse and the Lion's Gate, how do you think that's going to affect, the United States or Canada or North America at this time?
Well, I think the universe my feeling in trying to decipher the cosmic code, if you will, of what the universe is trying to show us, is that I think that we are, first of all, it's a fabulous question, because I think the universe is actually telling us here in North America that it is our responsibility to use this energy in a way that is harmonious and helpful and collegial, and all the things that we're maybe on the whole not thinking we feel as a country, as a species, but looking towards how can we be more loving towards one another. It almost just really comes down to that. And these energies are asking us to say, use this ability, use the power of fire to ignite the idea of shared consciousness, of moving towards collegiality, moving towards community, that kind of experience. We've been seeing what it feels like to move in the other direction, and maybe this energy used harmoniously, which is how it's being presented to us. I'm going to digress for just a second to go back a couple years ago, where most of people who became familiar with the Cardinal Grand Cross of challenging planet alignments, and how we had to go through challenging energies. We often find ourselves there, and there often is a lot of growth with that. But this time we are being offered an opportunity, a gift in harmonious energy that we can use in that way. So I think on a global scale, it's an opportunity, and people would say, well, all of this sounds very lovely, Rob, and I hear what you're saying, but what do I do? How do I do this? And I will tell you, it starts small. It's like ripples in a pond. We each can take a few moments to meditate about this, to allow our frequency and vibration to elevate, to remain elevated, maybe as much as possible during this 3-week time. We know that the vibration of the Earth has been rising. The Schumann resonance has risen. If the listeners know what that is, it's the calculated frequency of the Earth is speeding up, and to a certain extent, that's what's causing some of the what's the word I can use? I almost want to use the word volcanic, but this idea of so many things erupting with regard to the psyche of global politics and global issues and how we interact with each other, allowing for these things to come up and out. And that's what this lunar eclipse is about, is letting these things to come up, let them be released, and then replacing it with an energy of compassion, understanding, tolerance, all of these kinds of things, to the best way we can in our immediate surroundings. There have been lots of studies that have shown that energies such as this can be just totally healing in ways that we have no real understanding of how it happens, but the results can be proven. We are all experiencing and do experience the energies. So to the extent that we can be the people that, in our smaller communities, put forth these energies. And the best way to do it is during our meditative time.
Oh, wow. So meditate on those energies of community and peacefulness with each other. I had a wonderful conversation with somebody who was at Kent State, who was, under the bullets, who was one of the true hippies this morning. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about this, that, at least in the United States, we've been spending too much time polarizing each other. And he said, it's really time for us to get back to what's important, and that is people, and that is community, and it doesn't matter who you voted for, who you didn't vote for, just people and communities. So that's great. That goes on with my day. Robin, we're getting at the end of the hour, and you're going to be back to give readings. Okay. But if people with Paisley, so if you want to talk to Robin, you can call in to 505-908-9558 or Spirit for Peace. That is my Skype, Spirit for Peace. And Robin, if people want to get in contact with you for readings, how do they do that?
Okay, they can contact me through my email. And my email is my first name, which is Robin with a Y, Robyn, and then a hyphen, and then my last name is Fink, F like father, INK, at Comcast.net.
Great. And we're going to be back right after the break. Thank you so much for being with us, Robin. Don't go away. If you want to call in, you can talk to Robin next.
Psychic Sundays, spiritual communication, ET contact, Sasquatch in your backyard. We will have it all on Cosmic Passport with me, Elizabeth Anglin. Each Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, at spacedoutradio.com, I will take you on a journey of enlightenment. The goal is learning from the soul on out. We'd love it if you joined our experience, Cosmic Passport, heard Sundays at spacedoutradio.com.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at ufoseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
From coast to coast to coast, Blacklight Uncharted is taking on the paranormal across Canada. From ghostly hauntings to the UFOs flying above in conjunction with MUFON Canada, we're closely investigating what's going on in the northern skies and checking out the apparitions that walk among us. Check out our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com. We want to know your thoughts, we want to hear your experiences, and we want you to share your stories. The answers are out there, and we intend to find them.
Would you like to become one of our space travelers? All you have to do is click on the Space Travelers icon at spacedoutradio.com. For only $5 a month, you can get access to some great prizes, as well as private monthly shows, newsletters, and a members-only section on our website. Become a space traveler today.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. At spacedoutradio.com, The Encounter online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to spacedoutradio.com and encounter The Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over the Spaced Out Radio night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, this is Canadian Paranormal Investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
Are you an experiencer? Have you had run-ins with strange creatures you can't explain? ETs, Dogman, Bigfoot, werewolves? They're enough to scare the daylights out of anyone. Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski from your Four Cop. And on the last Monday of every month, you can listen to me and the host, Dave Scott, talk about the weird and the strange being reported on Spaced Out Radio. I'm going to bring my investigations and sources, you bring your experiences, and we'll figure out the rest together. Strange Days on Spaced Out Radio. Come tune us in at spacedoutradio.com.
Want a place to share your experiences without feeling judged? We have the place for you. If you've experienced sightings or contact with ETs, ghosts, cryptids, or UFOs, and you'd like someone to confidentially look into the matter, just fill out an SOR Sightlines report. Our goal is to help you get the answers you need to the experiences you've had with our professional team of researchers. Your information stays 100% confidential. The SOR Sightlines report. Fill out your experience today only at spacedoutradio.com.
Psychic Sundays, spiritual communication, ET contact, Sasquatch in your backyard. We will have it all on Cosmic Passport with me, Elizabeth Anglin. Each Sunday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, at spacedoutradio.com, I will take you on a journey of enlightenment. The goal is learning from the soul on out. We'd love it if you joined our experience. Cosmic Passport, heard Sundays at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
From British Columbia to Northern California, Pacific North Weird has Cascadia covered. Check out our feature videos at spacedoutradio.com, where I, Vincent Zunza, and my super sleuth partner Alexandra Sullivan track down the weird and strange stories from around the Pacific Northwest, from Bigfoot to Mel's Hole and everything in between. This is what makes life exciting. So why report the normal when we can report the Pacific North Weird right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
Welcome to Spaced Out Saturdays with me, Dave Cruz from Beyond the Strange. Our weekly feature on spacedoutradio.com will take you around the world discussing everything from the paranormal to the latest conspiracies from the top guests in their fields. We won't leave any story uncovered. Spaced Out Saturdays at spacedoutradio.com starting 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guest and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Weekend, Spaced Out Radio Limited, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. And hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Hey, welcome back to Spaced Out Radio's Cosmic Passport and Psychic Sunday. I am your host, Elizabeth Anglin, and we are coming to you live from the Spaced Out Radio Cosmic Cruise Mobile. We are putting it in overdrive tonight with Paisley Town and Robin Fink, who are going to be doing live readings from the chat room. If you have a question in chat, go ahead and type it in all caps. If you want to call in, you're going to call into my Skype tonight. Either Spirit for Peace, not Spirit of Peace, Spirit for FOR Peace, if you're Skyping in, or 505-908-9558. Hey, this is a new show, a new format. And if we're a little bit slow, bear with us. We will, in terms of getting you through and getting you on the air, just bear with us. We might have some technical difficulties, or the gods will smile on us and all will be well. For those of you who are listening from around the world in North America, we do want to welcome in especially our WQEE 99 Rock, the key listeners in Newton, Georgia. Everybody who is coming to us from spacedoutradio.com, on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and anywhere else you may be coming through on. And we also want to thank Ron Bumblefoot THAL, who creates the music that makes Spaced Out Radio Weekend rock. You may know him from Guns N' Roses or Art of Anarchy. He is absolutely a guitar god, and we love him for helping us out with music. Also, if you are on Twitter, check us out at Spaced Out Radio. I will be checking tweets as the night goes on, so what you want to do is hashtag Spaced Out Radio. If you have a question for Paisley or for Robin, you can tweet it at us this evening. Spreaker chat room appears to be down. SpacedOutRadio.com chat room appears to be down, so don't go there. Either tweet or come in through if you are on the SOR Space Travelers chat room, come in through there. Thanks everybody for being here. Paisley and Robin, I'm going to ask you one at a time. You do different things in your readings, and Paisley, you do numerology, and do you want to tell us a little bit about the 888 that's going on now?
You know what? I have no information about the 888. And I know this is to do with what's happening with the planets and the month of August coming up and that kind of thing. But numerology is based on people's name and people's birthday. The most information I could give you about an 8 is that it's the 888 would be, like, to me, very, very powerful. If an 8 falls in a birthday or a name, it would be very lucrative, very abundant, strong friendships, really active. It'd be like a super feisty person. That's what the 8 would be to me.
No, that's wonderful. So tonight, when you do readings, you're going to be doing numerology for folks, and you'll be looking at their names and their birth dates, and you know, people are familiar with you in terms of our listeners. But Robin, how are you going to be helping listeners tonight who either send us a chat question or call in?
Well, I can. What the two things that I think that in this particular kind of venue that I can be helpful with would be if I get some general information about people's birthdays, I can do a little bit of an astrology. I can take a look at a little bit more of the information and sort of follow up on what I already spoke about with regard to the lunar eclipse. Maybe the energies around the solar eclipse, maybe we can look at that a little bit more. And the other thing I think I'm well suited for this venue would be anybody who might want to talk to one of their pets. I think I can help them with that.
That's great.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So we have Robert White who is on this SOR Space Travelers, and he was born April 8th, and he says he's feisty, and that Joe Algier is an 8. His last name is an 8. We've got a caller. Hold on one second.
This is going to be a fun show with the full moon just in front of us here.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to that.
It is. It's just phenomenal energy. I'm sure you feel it.
Yes, oh, for sure. I have felt it for a few days. Robin, I'm curious, when is your birthday? Are you okay to tell us on the air?
Of course.
Sure.
My birthday is 8/31.
Okay, got it. So you've got the fun, feisty 8 too.
Yes, I do. I've got the feisty 8.
Awesome. It's usually like really good for a party, you know?
Yeah. Oh, good. Wonderful.
Yeah. Elizabeth should be back in a second. I'm actually having a peek in the Spreaker chat room. I heard somebody say earlier that it wasn't up, but I can read it and I can type into it, and it seems to be working here on my end. Yeah, so if people have questions. Got quite a few people in Spreaker chat tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's been, I told Elizabeth it was fabulous to be able to talk about what I talked about earlier, because this is just, it was like synchronous, the timing. the lunar
course.
eclipse, the Lion's Gate, and the solar eclipse. It's this wonderful energy that we've got going on. So it's an opportunity to sort of let go of things and bring in some great, positive, compassionate energy. So.
Oh, wonderful. And interestingly enough, we have a neighborhood here just outside of Vancouver proper called West Vancouver, and it connects Vancouver, city of Vancouver, through a really huge kind of like a Central Park area over to the North Shore, and that's considered the Lions Gate neighborhood or the Lions Gate Bridge. So
cool. Oh,
yeah.
very wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm back. I was put on hold. Daryl called in, and she's going to be trying to come back in. When people call in, it puts me on hold for a second, and it's not really showing me how to add them to the call. So give me a little bit. I may go away again because Daryl may be calling in a second. So a really good way to ask a question. Wyatt is asking a question from the chat room. Or Wyatt has a comment, and he says, Paisley, since you read my B-Day here about a month and a half ago, I've had my B-Day. Would it change my reading? So it's after his birthday. And I may go on hold. I'll be right back.
And Robin, we can still talk.
Oh, okay. You're the pro. I'm trying to follow along blindly here.
I'm by far the pro, not no.
You need to respond to Wyatt.
No, I can't get through while Elizabeth's there.
Okay.
But
okay.
I'm just looking at your birthday. So 8/31.
Oh. Well, I'm 8/31. Are we on air, or am I?
Yes, we are on air. So you might want to keep the year to yourself, and that's fine. Because even with the spelling of your name, because it's a really unique spelling with the Y. I love that. I found you on Facebook.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Did you change your name to the Y, or was that your birth name?
No, my mother. That was my mother.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Was she a hippie?
No, but she was a forward thinker. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, have you had numerology reading before?
No, I haven't ever. I would be so delighted to have a full blown one with you.
Sure.
At some point.
While we're waiting for Elizabeth, the name Robin, Robyn, is the value of a 6. So it's usually somebody who works in healing, helping, compassion. I would say very creative and artistic, and a lot of heart-centered gestures to heal the planet. So even good with like flowers, flower arranging, landscaping, decorating, cooking, entertaining, feeding the people. There she is.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay, great. Were you given a reading? I didn't know because
I was sorry, Elizabeth. Yeah, while we were waiting, I was telling Robin about the number 6 in her name.
Oh, well, go on, carry on.
She's a little bit. It could be considered to be like a hippie, somebody who just who doesn't like conflict, who like really tries to get everyone to play nicely together and work together. But it's basically a healer of the people. Like through nature and through organic things. So it totally makes sense that you work with the planets.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That speaks to me.
Yeah, good. And maybe later in the show we'll get to your birthday. I'll do your numbers while I'm sitting here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Elizabeth, did Wyatt have a question?
I don't think he did, and I just want to make an announcement. You know what? We're having problems connecting Skypes together. So what you're going to do is Skype into Dave Scott, who has his Skype up. The phone number, or the Skype phone number for him is 702-302-4556. And if you want to call in, go to 702-302-4556, and you'll get into Dave, and he can put you on hold. And somebody is getting called right now. So how about that?
Oh my God, it worked. Hello? Hello?
Hi, Daryl. How you doing?
Oh, thank you so much for returning my call. I couldn't Skype in for anything. I tried so many ways.
I think we have everybody here. Let's see. Are you there, Paisley? Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm here. Sorry, Elizabeth.
Okay. And Robin, Daryl, do you have a question for Robin?
Yes, I do. I was just amazed that you had mentioned that lunar activity and the celestial activity, because I caught something tonight. I don't know why. I just felt something was very off. And there was, I looked out the window. I faced the east, and about 8:30 p.m. tonight, I saw the moon in the east side around 27th Street. I'm in Midtown. But I looked down at the south, and there was a huge ball of sunlight. It looked like sun, but it was obviously it couldn't be the sun. It was dark out already, practically. And then I just followed it. I videotaped it as much as I could till it disappeared. It just wound up in the sky. It just floated up. But I saw the moon at the same exact time, so I can guarantee you it definitely was not the moon. And my friend is here with me visiting from upstate New York, and he saw it too. And he was like, holy crap, what the hell is that, you know? So I was wondering if you maybe would be able to kind of identify what it might be, or does it have something to do with with the activity in the universe? Could it be, what kind of anomalies would appear like that?
Well, it doesn't. I don't know what it could be in terms of it could, and nothing should be looking as bright as the moon, because obviously the moon is the closest satellite we have to us. True. But what I would suggest, and this is just a little bit of conjecture, but the idea that we're in this moment of time where, think of a bell-shaped curve, where the energies are starting to move towards this Lion's Gate that I was speaking of, in terms of the portal of Sirius aligning with the sun. And what sometimes at this time is that energies become closer together, and we are able to possibly perceive things and see things that we wouldn't otherwise see. So, and that they might be more available to us. And so I don't know what you saw, but it doesn't surprise me that we are all possibly going to have the ability to see some things like this. I don't know of anything that would be interfering with that on a cosmic scale, but very interesting, and would be a fascinating video to see.
I will share it with you gladly. It's not the first time I've caught this sort of phenomena in the skyline before. I have about 3 different ones, but this one was so brilliant and so close. For comfort, I'm going to say I can't say I wasn't frightened, but I'm a little concerned about all of these planets becoming aligned, as well as the gravitational forces that might interfere with our day-to-day living. I mean, is there any cause for concern about that kind of thing?
I don't think so. I think in terms of this particular alignment of the Sirius and our sun is a very benevolent, benign alignment. It's an alignment of moving us into harmony. It's an alignment of accepting positive energy. There's nothing negative about that at all. It's actually something to be welcomed, I believe. So in terms of that, I think it's nothing to be afraid of.
Maybe it can balance out all the Earth, kind of unrest at this point. Maybe it'll help balance out the energy of the Earth, I hope.
And that's the hope. And that's the hope, yes. If we use it in a positive way, and part of my message this evening for others is that if we can be on that page of accepting it and then doing what we can to keep our vibration at the highest point, any time that a higher vibration cannot allow lower vibrating energies to affect it. So the higher vibrating we are in terms of our positive energy, it keeps us in that place.
I see. Yeah. Just keeping up to date with the earthquake situation. We're kind of very busy right now as far as quaking goes. Even in New York, we had like a 3-point, at the northern border, I know we had a 3.1, and Canada had like a 4 something. And right now, I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to keep up with it, but I'll give you an update later. But I'm just concerned, do you think that will balance some sort of, do you think the gravitational pull could be having something to do with all the earthquakes? And this could be a balance? It can balance out even something,
Yes, there's certainly that possibility. And there's, in some ways, there isn't a lot we as individuals, as human beings on this planet, that can do to affect it. But the one thing we can do to affect the energy and the vibration of the earth, and the earth's vibrational energy is accelerating. And there are schools of thought. I'm certainly not an expert here, but there are schools of thought, things I've read about this increase in the vibrational energy is causing the earth to have these changes to be much more noticeable to us, and also to fluctuate more. So, but sometimes things need to come out and be released, and that there's a school of thought that that's part of what's happening. Which again, I think if we remain in a place of using these positive energies that are being generated towards us, as are every time this time of year, then we are, but even more so this year because of the alignment of other planets, we have a greater opportunity to keep ourselves in a more positive, ascending place, a place where we want to be.
Oh, let's hope so. Let's all think positive thoughts. Maybe collectively we can change a lot.
Well, I hope so, and I think that our collective energy has to start with individual energy, and that's the key. So
I see. Well, great. Thank you so much for being on the show. I think you're wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Daryl. Okay, so if you want to call in for Paisley, who's doing numerology, and I think Wyatt in the SOR Space Travelers would probably like a new reading. Well, he says he wanted to know if, having passed his birthday since the last time you read for him a while back, he wanted to know if that would change anything about what you read, Paisley. So Wyatt...
Yeah, it doesn't usually change anything about because numerology basically, it gives me characteristics about a person's, what their tendencies are, what their likes and dislikes are. So, for example, I know, for example, you, Elizabeth, because you gave me your birth name before when we weren't on air one day, and your birth name is really different than the name Elizabeth, so it changes your personality, and it gives you a little bit of extra life lessons, actually, to use a different name. And myself, I use the name Paisley, and that's not my birth name, so it changes me and gives me a little more homework to do.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I always thought that, let's talk about that, because I am an Amy Elizabeth. And I changed it to Elizabeth so that when I came out as an experiencer, nobody would Google Amy and get my parents, and they were running orphanages in Liberia, and they got a lot of very Christian. They had a lot of funding from the more right-wing Christian groups, and I didn't want, that to be tied that, and your daughter believes in aliens. So I just said, well, we'll just go out with Elizabeth. And the same thing with readings. I didn't want to, I thought, oh my gosh, I don't want to have people that they're getting funding from go, what is that? Oh my gosh. So I didn't even think about it changing my life lesson plan. How does it do that?
So the name Amy, spelled the way that you spell it, because there's a bunch of different spellings these days, but I think yours is A-M-Y. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So that spelling is, in numerology, is the value of 1. And Elizabeth, the way that you spell it, because there's different ways of spelling Elizabeth too, and when you add it together, it's a 2 name. And so the only 2 numbers in numerology. Numerology is 1 through 9. And then so if you're giving something the value of 10, for example, you would add those two digits together, 1 plus 0, and it comes back to 1. So there's really only 1 through 9. So if somebody's an 11, they're actually a 2. The only two numbers that are completely opposite from each other in numerology are the 1 and the 2. So Amy's a 1 and Elizabeth is a 2. So it actually gives you a little bit more homework. And this could easily be why, Elizabeth, it's hard for you to get motivated. For example, a lot of people who choose a fire name or use a fire name instead of the water birth name, like one's water and two's fire. So when people add fire to their birthday, what ends up happening is they're amazing motivators and they're able to motivate other people. And sometimes they can be challenged to motivate themselves to do physical things, like to get things done or to go to the gym or to exercise.
Hey, I want to tell you that I wouldn't have been able to exercise last year because my hemoglobin was so low. I was supposed to be dead.
No
and
energy.
So
yeah.
When I tried to, I couldn't breathe.
Sorry, the mailbox is full.
Okay, whatever that means. So I couldn't breathe, but now that they gave me a blood transfusion, I have my rebounder and I have a rower, and I'm starting to do it.
Sorry, the mailbox is full.
So, but it's interesting what you say about being a motivator of others, because that's where I find, as I get more motivated, I still need to organize my stuff, do my taxes, etc. But I am doing more motivational, work. And
more than ever, probably.
More than ever. And
yes.
And you would just think, if you come back and you look at my horizontal filing system on my desk, you'd be like, yeah, you're motivating? Sure, we believe that.
Right. Well, the interesting thing is, ones are organizers. So the name Amy would be like structuring things and organizing taxes and getting the taxes done before they're due and all that kind of thing. And the fire energy, adding the 2, would be like adding in a whole truckload of chaos. So I would say, if someone asked me, tell me what Elizabeth is like, what's her personality like, I would say she's organized chaos.
Yeah.
Does that fit for you?
Yeah, there you go.
It is, and it's also in my astrology chart. There's some opposition of Saturn and something else where I can organize people who are disorganized, but I will add a little chaos to people who are too organized.
Perfect.
Because
that's you, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
that keeps us on our toes. That's good. Did Robin already tell you that?
No, I've had my chart done a gazillion million times. She picked out some other things other than that, but that was the one. It was like, if you're disorganized, I'll organize you. If you're organized, I'll say stop being so rigid and I'll fix you either way.
Perfect. So just to answer Wyatt's question, I think that's how we got on the topic, is that so his birthday doesn't change before his birthday or after his birthday so much, other than, so for example, you might say, well, if nothing changes, why would I ever, once I've had a numerology reading, why would I bother getting another one if nothing changes? But often what happens is, on our journey, depending on where we're at and where we are in our lessons. So for example, people of a 1 will, when they're young, they'll sometimes not speak up. And so there'll be challenges around standing up for themselves, advocating for themselves. They might advocate for others, but not for themselves. They'll be a little bit quiet or feel like they haven't been heard properly, or that no one's listening, or people are interpreting what you're saying not the right way. So sometimes 1s become very quiet and they grow up thinking that they're shy, and they're not. They're the teachers, they're the leaders, they're the people that own businesses, and they can run run the whole class. They could run everything by them independently on their own. But it's because the life lesson around the 1 is eventually over time you come into your 1. So for example, the night that Wyatt was on the air, he went into our Facebook chat and gave somebody his name and his birthday, and it was given to me on a break. And I just started, giving information. I never spoke to him. I didn't know anything about him. I didn't see what he looked like on Facebook. Like I wasn't in Facebook. I was in our chat room in Spreaker. So I can really do a reading on somebody that I've never met easily. So phone readings are really fun for that. But depending on where Wyatt is in his lessons, so for example, if he was working on something since our last phone call, then his reading would change a little bit because he's ready for the next piece of information, if that sort of makes sense. So it's really fascinating. I love numerology. It's interesting for me too because I grew up dyslexic with numbers, and so I'm really surprised that I do numerology at all. I'm really, really drawn to it. I think it chose me and pulled me into it.
That is very
cool.
It is
very cool.
Yeah. We have a caller, another question asker from 484 area code. Caller, do you want to ask your question of Paisley or Robin?
Yes, this is Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
Hi.
Hi, Paisley. I would like to ask Robin general reading tonight, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I was with this eclipse and all that. I noticed that there's a lot of energy changes this month that I'm not used to. I would like to have a general reading how this will go.
Oh, in terms of for your particular energies?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me what's your birthday, please, Christopher?
January 21st, 1970.
Okay, January 21st. Okay, so you're an Aquarius, aren't you? Your sun energy.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, the lunar energies for interestingly, it's going to be very powerful, and you've already experienced that because the moon for this eclipse is going to be in the sign of Aquarius. So the fact that your sun sign is in Aquarius, you are feeling it even almost like on steroids, I would say. It's a supercharged, might be another way to put it. And it also means that the moon is going to be playing its energies out in an environment in your life which has to do with yourself, with who you are, how you see yourself in the world, and how you interact with regard to the others in your life. How do you see yourself vis-a-vis other people? So a lot of the energy of the Aquarian nature is the energy of somebody who puts a lot of stock in individuality, likes their freedoms, really enjoys themselves and understands themselves. But sometimes the downside of that can be that it may be difficult to find themselves in larger groups and feeling maybe a little bit like an outsider in organizations or their Facebook groups or their work groups, that kind of thing. So what this lunar eclipse is going to ask is asking for those kinds of issues that come up for you is how to balance that energy, how to make that energy work for you. So in other words, don't resist letting go of those places where you feel like I enjoy being who I am, I'm true to myself. You're also likely the person that comes up with ideas in the groups of people that you find yourself with, and we all need that energy. So it's this idea of moving yourself through that, but knowing that while that's important, how do we fit in terms of our greater community? And that's the lunar eclipse that is challenging. So
this has been a real doozy, this eclipse.
Yeah. And you're going to feel this probably more strongly than some of the other signs will, because the moon is in that very energy that you live with every day, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So to use it wisely and to really be able to enter the Lion's Gate and be able to use that energy, letting go of those things that do not serve you with regard to who you are as an individual, but how are you an individual that works in community, and how can you make yourself feel more comfortable in a community experience, be that family, be that work experience, be that your generalized community, your organization, the groups that you find yourself with, your tribe.
Yeah, it's mainly my family.
Yeah. So does that?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad.
All right. Thank you, Christopher, for calling in. Did you have any question for Paisley, or are you good?
I'm good, and I hope you have a good weekend.
Number and try to call again.
Okay.
Le numéro de téléphone que vous avez composé n'est pas attribué. Veuillez.
Pretty soon Spanish, Elizabeth.
I am learning. I'm learning all the time, I'll tell you.
I was going to say, that sounded like French to me.
It was French, for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say. I hablo español un poquito.
Okay. So we have another question from Wyatt. He says, okay, been working on connecting with spirit guides, etc. Had a woman calling me in my head, calling my name, trying to wake me. Was familiar but wasn't able to place. He was familiar with the sound of the voice but wasn't able to place who it was. Last night started a conversation with someone in my sleep but don't remember much of it, and I never talk in my sleep. And he is giving you his birthday, Paisley, if you want to look again, 7/15/56. I think what we're going to do is we're gonna hang on to that so Paisley can run the numbers, and then we have another caller. And so can we do it that way? Is that okay with you, Paisley?
Perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So we have a 604 caller. Are you on the line?
The 604-652.
That is you. How are you? And who are you?
I'm good.
It sounds
Amanda.
like Amanda.
Amanda.
It is Amanda. How did you know? I'm back.
She's back.
I'm not going to tell you how I knew Amanda.
Yeah, everybody knows. Especially when you guys are on, I have to call. It's like a necessity.
Awesome.
But
good.
I don't have like any. Well, I do, but I'm not going to ask it. But I'm just wondering if there's anything I need to know, or anything anybody wants me to know, or just general.
Well, why don't you look at Paisley, do you have anything with numerology, or Robin, is there something that you could tell her about the time?
I can say for sure that, Amanda, you have the same questions sometimes, and it's because you're in the process of getting the answers, but all is not being revealed quickly for you. Is that right? I feel like you're getting.
I'd say that's probably about half right.
Yeah, I feel like you're getting a little piece of your answer here and there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like trying to put puzzle pieces together sometimes that I can't quite get together.
The good news, Amanda, for you, because you have so much fire energy, I don't remember your birthday, but I remember you're fiery, because people who are fiery can sometimes want everything right now. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of one of those things. It's like you write the exam and they're going to get back to you, and you're waiting. You're almost can't breathe because you want the results right now. Yeah. It's just a trait of fire. It's really, prone to, wanting the answer. So it's good that it's coming together like a puzzle piece for you, because puzzles are one of your, biggest challenges and one of your biggest fun things to do. If you had all the answers, you'd be like, I don't even want to know. So it's kind of good that some of the information hasn't come yet.
Hey, keeps me on my toes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Paisley,
Yes.
That just made me think of something that you said in my session about, changing my name to a fire from a 2 to a 1. So in relationship, would I tend to be much more impatient now as Elizabeth than I would have been as Amy?
You changed actually from a 1 to a 2. So Amy was the 1, and you're using the name Elizabeth now. So it makes you a little bit more impatient.
I noticed. I am so impatient. Okay. Amanda, I'm right there with you. We can be the impatient fire sisters.
And don't be alarmed. I hope you guys are sitting down. But when I do Robin's birthday numbers, sometimes she can be impatient. Is that right, Robin?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I'm not alone. Thank you, baby Jesus.
There's fire everywhere, not just in the fields. Yeah.
We'll be the impatient angels, and now we just need some guy named Impatient to call us up and say, "Angels!"
You know what? Fire energy is really great because in my numbers, and all of my numbers, I don't have any fire numbers. I'm all air and water, and I grew up with my mother's fire, my father's fire, my brother's fire, and so I tend to date fire people who have fire because I'm used to it and I know what to expect from that.
Familiar.
Yeah, but it helps motivate me to not be so like kumbaya all the time. Like I'll just sit around and won't get anything done because I'm not motivated. I don't have fire.
Right. Yeah.
And I'll be like, yeah, this big bill.
Equilibrium of what we don't have. That we keep the complement what we have with what we don't have.
Exactly.
It's exactly what happens in astrology. When we're imbalanced in an element, we tend to be drawn to what it is that we don't have because it's this idea of wanting to go to wholeness.
Right. Well, the last time I had my astrology done, it said something about me eventually moving to Maui, so I don't need to be worried about being motivated. So,
man, worry about fire because
So I think Amanda has some questions, but Robin, you don't have Amanda's birthday, right?
I don't have her birthday. No.
Okay.
November
Amanda,
7th.
There you go.
Yeah, November 7th, 1970.
1970. Okay. Hold on a minute.
Does it make a difference, like my birth name compared to my adopted name?
Not for me. It doesn't.
Okay.
No.
And Amanda, for me, it does actually.
I know. Jennifer is my birth name.
Yeah, and the reason, it's a good question actually for some of the listeners, and I get asked this question a lot, but I also get contacted by people when they have a baby that's born, like in November. On November 10th last year, a little boy was born in our area, and the parents called me on November 26th, and they're like, we need a reading immediately because we've got it down to 2 names, and we can't pick which name is the right name for our baby. So they had me run the numbers to see what would create like a more balanced little boy, who didn't have so many lessons. So the deal is this: even if somebody was born with a name, let's say John Smith, and they used that name for like 5 minutes, it was on the birth certificate, and somebody read it and said, "Oh, that name sucks. I want to call him Harrison or something." Because it was put in writing, because it was made official, putting it in writing gives it a lot of weight. And so, so there'll be lessons of the birth name and then lessons of the new name. Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Does make sense.
Cool.
Amanda, this is Robin. Can you tell me where you were born? Because I want to get this to be complete.
Vancouver, British Columbia.
Okay, thank you.
And while she's doing that, just interrupt me as soon as you're ready, Robin. But so Amanda, your name is a 3, and Jennifer with it's 2 N's and an F. Is that right? Jennifer.
Yeah, Jenn. Yeah, Jennifer.
Is it IPHER or IFER?
JENNIFER.
Okay, so that Jennifer spelling is a 1. So 1 is like super independent, very organized, like what I was speaking about earlier in the show. And Amanda is more generous, more compassionate. You're here to help heal a lot of people. You'll provide healing even to people like your family or your husband's family, you'll provide healing to those people. So people who are needy might be drawn to you for help because of the name Amanda.
Yeah, it's funny because my line of work is a pretty needy line of work.
That's okay. The key for that, because it's the 1 is the birth name and the 7 is the day you're born, the key to it is self-care, 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 which you already know. So if you're feeling drained, it means pull back and, go for a pedicure and have a massage and do some...
Thanks for... I'm looking at my toes right now actually going, I need another pedicure. It's funny that you said that because I was literally just looking at them going, I think I need a pedicure.
Yeah, that's self-care, right? So I think...
Oh, yes, it is.
I think Robin's ready for you probably.
Yeah, I am. And I wanted to follow up on the self-care. Do you work in a profession, Amanda, that is that you're in service to others? Did I hear that?
Yeah, I work with people with mental health and addictions.
Okay, I can see that. Your moon is in Aquarius, and it's in what we call the 6th house, which is the house of service, the house of being of service to people, of being a craftsperson. It's actually a Virgo house. So the reason I'm bringing that up is that it makes total sense that's where your feeling energy, your nurturing energy, your mothering energy would come from in that. And it's a beautiful expression of where your moon is, but it can also be very draining and also not self-protective because it's almost opposite the house of the self. So it's a place where you sort of want to think about being careful that you don't get too drawn in to your work. And the other reason I say that is you're a Scorpio sun, which is what I call deep water. You want to know things very deeply, and you want people to know you deeply. You want to know how things work, what is going on. Likely people find you the person that they'll come and say something like, I've never told anyone this before, and they'll tell you something. So
I get that a lot.
You do. I'm certain that you do. So there's a going back to we started with impatience. Is there anything anybody wants to tell me? I think was your question. And from the perspective of your cosmic energy, you have this real desire, this very deep-seated desire to know. And it's expressed in an environment of communication, perception, listening, places where we express ourselves verbally, but also body language, and that that whole expression of communication. So it goes back to what Paisley was saying. You come by all of this very honestly, but sometimes there's not any way to know everything that you need to know, especially not right now. And with you having your ascendant is in Leo, which is a fire sign. You have a moon in an air sign, which is Aquarius, and your sun sign is in Scorpio, which is deep water. So you have water, you have deep emotional energy, you have this fiery personality that is what you show to the world, and then your nurturing energy is this very intellectual air energy, this thought process energy, independent energy. So part of what I think you might be searching for is something that expresses things in the grounded material, things that is safety and security and groundedness, and something that I can see, touch, and feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is any of that helpful to you?
Makes sense, yeah.
Okay.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cool reading. I liked it.
Yeah.
That was neat. Thanks, guys.
Oh, you're welcome, Amanda.
The puzzle pieces, the good old puzzle pieces. Elizabeth knows what puzzle piece I'm trying to figure out a certain date. And you know what? My blasted pendulum is still doing it to me. I re-energized it. I cleared it. And nope.
Because there's more than
every day.
Yeah, it's more.
No. Trust me, it's one. There's only one day, but it just won't give it up, that stinking pendulum. Thanks, guys.
More than one, Amanda.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, so this is we have a few minutes. We have about 5 minutes for this next reading, which comes in through the Spreaker chat room. And this is animal communication for Robin. And it's for a dog named Noelle, who's female. And she also has a couple brothers, Max and Jack. But Dawn her owner has been wondering if she's been trying to say something to her.
And okay. Noelle is 5 years old, apparently, Robin.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And may I have a couple minutes?
You can. Sure, that's perfect. I can take over from Wyatt's question if you don't mind, Elizabeth.
Yeah, go for it.
So he was asking about spirit guides and having a dream, and I don't get a lot of this type of information, especially on air, very rarely, but maybe things are changing. I felt like the reason that Wyatt recognized the voice is because it was someone that was very close to him in a past life. And I'm not going to do too much numerology for him because I feel like Wyatt is about to embark on a whole new path in his life to draw a new teacher or a set of new teachers to him so that he can be a teacher. Like, I feel like he's going to be like on the show. We're doing readings maybe someday. I just feel like he's just getting ready to take a new path, which is going to lead him in a new direction. And I just feel like strong intuitive, strong healer, strong helper, strong leader. Yeah. And that's all I'm getting for him. I didn't even run his numbers. Like, I have them written in front of me, but I don't have any fresh information for him as far as like advice or anything other than like keep your eyes peeled for your teacher, because your teacher's right, like either already in front of you or about to walk right in front of your path. And as soon as you recognize that's your teacher, just, nab that person. Don't stalk them, but you know what I mean. So hopefully that's helpful.
Good. Robin.
Okay. I thank you for the question about Noelle. I have a question. Noelle is 5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do we know are Max and Jack the older brothers of this threesome?
One of them is 11 and one of them's 12 for Max and Jack.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is that the feeling that came to me directly when I tuned in to Noelle was this very gentle energy, very gentle, very, very sweet energy. But I felt a little bit of energy maybe around the neck and the shoulders of being a little bit tense and a little frightened. And I don't mean that scared like a dog is when they encounter thunder, but just this sort of a little bit of stress about, it feels almost like she is trying to tell you that she feels a little bit unsure around the other dogs, and I'm not absolutely sure, but it feels something like she is. She's concerned because maybe they're getting older, and it's frightening to her from this perspective of, they're getting closer to not being with her. And I think she just needs some reassurance. I'm not suggesting that anything's wrong with Max or Jack, just that she has a sense of being the youngest, has been around them, it appears, for long enough for her to have this connection. And she feels a little unsure to me. She feels like she wants to be reassured. Is that helpful?
So I'm just typing to Dawn in the chat room, and there's a slight delay, but I'm asking her, does this make sense for you, Dawn? And she's saying it doesn't make sense right now.
Okay.
We'll come back to that after the break. We're about to go into break. Hey, Paisley, if people want to call you and get you for numerology, how did they do that?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I've got an events page, Paisley Town Events and Psychic Fairs. I also have a website called paisleytown.com, Paisley, last name Town, Town. And I do phone readings and Skype readings and live readings and everywhere between Vancouver and Toronto and Detroit and Washington.
That is excellent. And you also teach, right?
Yes, I do. Sorry, Elizabeth, my mic's acting up a little bit. I teach classes locally in Coquitlam and Vancouver right now, and I host large events up to 275 people to do readings. I bring other readers with me. So I teach psychics, and I work with my peers in my neighborhood. So I have like a database of about 70 different psychics that I work in collaboration with. So it's really, really fun.
And Robin, what's your contact email for people if they want to have an astrology reading with you?
Okay, my email address is Robin, my first name, ROBYN, and then a hyphen, and then Fink, my last name, F like father, INK, at Comcast.net.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for listening. You know, we're calling in. We're changing the call-in for tonight. We're going to go to commercial. I'm going to give you the new call-in number when we get back, and we'll continue on with Robin and Paisley, our two mediums or psychics or numerologists or astrologers, right after this.
Welcome to Spaced Out Saturdays with me, Dave Cruz from Beyond the Strange. Our weekly feature on spacedoutradio.com will take you around the world discussing everything from the paranormal to the latest conspiracies from the top guests in their fields. We won't leave any story uncovered. Spaced Out Saturdays at spacedoutradio.com starting 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. We're getting strange on Saturday nights. Hi there, this is Dave Cruz, and each Saturday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, I will take you on a tour of the weird and obtuse on Spaced Out Saturdays, from aliens to Sasquatch and every tinfoil hat in between. We got you covered. Join us at spacedoutradio.com for Spaced Out Saturdays. See you there.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Sightlines is a place for you to find answers to your strange experiences. Hi there, this is Mike Schmidt. If you have had an encounter with ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, ETs, or anything else that doesn't make sense, head to spacedoutradio.com and file a Sightlines report. All information you give is 100% confidential, and I will personally help you find the answers you need. SOR Sightlines, your answers are a click away.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, We are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
Don't have time to listen to Spaced Out Radio live? Wherever you are, the car, the office, the shower, or even if you're traveling, we're right here for you. Each Spaced Out Radio show can be found on iTunes, TuneIn, and on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. It's the perfect way for you to catch up on our shows. For more information, just head over to our website, spacedoutradio.com, and tune in to us today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
The views and opinions expressed by tonight's guests and topic of discussion do not necessarily represent the official policy or position of Spaced Out Radio, Spaced Out Weekend, Spaced Out Radio Limited, its hosts, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with this broadcast. Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. And hit us up on Twitter using the hashtag SpacedOutRadio. Now, back to Elizabeth Anglin and SOR.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio's Cosmic Passport, the third hour. Yes, it's like a sequel, but not a sequel because it's 3 hours all together in one big clump. I'm your host, Elizabeth Anglin. We're coming back with Robin Fink, our evolutionary astrologer, and Paisley Town, our numerologist. You all know Paisley. We are all in the Cosmic Cruise Mobile with Dave running the phone lines. Thank you so much, Dave Scott, for helping us out with the assist tonight. We are coming to you live as we do every weekend. And for those of you living and listening around North America and the world, I want to welcome in again WQEE 99 Rock, the key listeners in Noonan, Georgia. All of you folks at spacedoutradio.com, on Spreaker, on the United Public Radio Network, Renegade Talk Radio, the High Plains Talk Radio Network, and the new group KTLK The Fringe. Thank you for being here. We want to thank Ron Bumblefoot THAL for doing our music for us. He is a guitar god from Guns N' Roses and Art of Anarchy. Formerly of Guns N' Roses, now of Art of Anarchy. He creates our music for Spaced Out Radio, Weekend Rock. Well, he creates it for his own self, but we love it. Also, you can check us out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can follow me at Cosmic Passport with Elizabeth Anglin. We are back with questions for Robin Fink, our evolutionary astrologer, also animal communicator and general all-around intuitive. And Paisley, who is also an amazing intuitive, will be doing numerology tonight. If you are calling in, we had to change the call-in numbers. And so you're calling in to Dave at 702-302-4556. I'm saying it slowly. 702-302-4556. So you can write it down. And we want to hear your calls. We want to hear your questions. We'd love to talk to you. So go ahead and call on in. We do have a caller from area code 425. 425. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Can you turn can you turn us off in the background? Is that possible?
Yes.
We've got a little feedback. That'd be great. And we can wait. Right, guys?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I can. I'm very patient.
Yeah. Yeah, we're impatient.
Wait, we've learned Elizabeth and I are not so patient.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we are working on it.
Yes.
Yeah. Caller, what's your first name?
It's Robin St. Charles. That's my first name. Robin with an I.
Robin for Robin with a Y. Hi, Robin. How are you? I love seeing you in the SOR chat room, and I love seeing your posts.
Except I have an I instead of a Y.
Okay. Yeah. Well, our Robin here has a Y. So.
Okay.
And Robin, you're with an I. Okay, so I'm going to have to think of ways if I'm addressing. We'll figure it out. So, who is your question for Robin, and what is your question?
So, when I was first born, I was really sick with meningococcal meningitis. So, my question is that now that I'm really into paranormal stuff, and I have joined up with a paranormal team. Do you think that could be because I almost died as a child?
That's a good question. Robin, can you tell us your date of birth? Are you okay to say that on the air?
Yes, it's March 5th, 1984.
Okay. And this is kind of going to throw a little monkey wrench, but Elizabeth, do you have something for Robin? Or am I way off base?
You want me to? Well,
I just feel like you're reading him.
I'm not. I'm not supposed to be doing that. Stop it. Stop it.
Okay.
Dave
Sorry.
said no. Sorry,
okay.
Robin.
No worries. That's okay. So, Robin, do you want to work on the numbers for that, or do you want me to speak for it?
May I ask Robin another question, if he would be so kind as to tell me where he was born, and then I can...
It was Seattle, Washington.
Okay, thank you.
So while Robin's doing the numbers, are you all set, Robin?
No, not
yet.
No.
Okay, I'm just going to start talking, and I'm happy to shut up at any time. So being born on the 5th of March, when I'm looking at your number pattern, I would say you're very intuitive, and investigations would really honor a good part of your personality, because the scientific element to provide evidence in an investigation would be extremely important to you. So you'd be very good at saying, you know what, that sound ended up being something else because I researched it and I did all my homework and I know what that sound was. It wasn't a spirit on the tape that we recorded. It was actually blah, blah, blah. Because this is all about fairness and justice and balance and accuracy and making things be fair. So it wouldn't be good for, for example, for a TV show where you want every single noise on the tape to be a ghost. It would be better for homeowners who wanted to know, yeah, it wasn't a ghost. Our house isn't, full of creepy entities. It's actually because of this or because of that, or there's, an animal in the wall, or you'd be really good at demystifying what the evidence is and proving what the real evidence is. Does that make sense for you, Robin?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're a researcher, is that correct? You like to look up things and keep track of things and learn things constantly?
Yes, that is true.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna head you over to Robin and see if she's ready.
Okay, I'm ready. So Robin, it's very interesting because I'm gonna just flow right from what Paisley told you. And one of the things you do know that if you know anything about your astrology, which usually people know what their sun sign is, and yours is in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a very mystical sign. It's the sign of people who may have a real keen, not just a keen interest in the metaphysical or the paranormal or things that we can't see, feel, or touch, but it also it's this idea of being open to the possibility of a greater universe of things. So seeing things in a huge way. You also have energy that's in an environment, and in astrology we call those houses, in an environment of what would be towards the end of the cycle, which is sort of going in between life and death, and after life is death, and then there's rebirth. So I can see where you have the energy of what you described in your earlier life, which plays into this Piscean energy because it's quite mystical, it's quite transformative, but there's also this energy of the planet Saturn, which speaks to us of we like to call it limitation, but it's also being regimented, being drawn to the truth of things, looking at the mirror and seeing things truthfully. So we see that really, really clearly. And the other point that I see in your chart is that your rising sign, which would be the constellation that's rising in the east at the point of which, when you were born, the point of your birth, is Scorpio. And Scorpio energy speaks to this same kind of transformative, deep knowing energy. And that is part of what Paisley was alluding to with regard to your ability to analyze, want to get to things deeply, be an investigator. So I really see that there are a lot of energies that you came into this existence with that have drawn you to this, and it does make a lot of sense. You also finally have energy in an environment that has to do with your self-esteem, how you see yourself, what you value in your life. There's the energy of Neptune there, and Neptune and Pisces work together in terms of that very mystical, spiritual energy that is very intellectual. Next to Neptune sits Jupiter, and Jupiter combined with Neptune gives you an energy that is overflowing, abundant energy that is full of mystical experience and dreamlike experience. Possibly you have very you probably are a person who does remember their dreams. So it all makes sense that is happening for you the way it is, and it does speak through your chart. Is that helpful?
All right. Yeah, it is.
It's a lot of information, very detailed. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're in the right place at the right time, Robin.
Oh, that's good news.
Absolutely. Robin, do you have any other questions, or are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Thanks so much for calling in, and we'll see you around in the chat room. We have another question from Wyatt. And I thought he wanted to know if we could tell him anything about Agnes, and I thought Agnes was a person, so we got her birth date too. She's a basset hound.
Oh.
And she was born September 21st, 2007 in Kansas. And so we can either do it as a straight animal communication, or we can, I guess, can you astrologize an animal?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
And
let me do that part of it first, and then I'll take a moment and concentrate.
Okay, and then Paisley, you want to try your numbers? She would be.
Try whose numbers for the dog?
Yeah, Agnes.
Oh my gosh,
Aaron
I've never done a dog reading. I'll tell you I'll tell you what I have done. So we have a really kind of a high-end village up here north of the city, about 2 hours, called Whistler Blackcomb Mountain. It's basically a place where movie stars and a lot of people come to vacation and go skiing for a lot of part of the year. In the summer, they hot tub and have parties, and it's a great place. So one year we were doing some fundraising for the local people that, take in stray pets and all that kind of thing. And we did paw readings. Instead of palm readings, we did paw readings for dogs and cats. And so people brought their pets in, and it was I couldn't believe how accurate the information was that was coming out of everybody's mouth, including mine. I was so stunned. I thought it would be like, just donate $5 to the jar and, we'll just tell them something. But the information that came through was really, really accurate, because when you have the paw in your hand, you're picking up the energy of the dog. And so medical information was coming through, and stuff about diet and stuff about previous injuries for the pets was coming. Like, it was amazing, all the information that came through. I couldn't quite believe it, but I wouldn't be able to do that on the air.
Well, so paw readings, is there like a manual for this, or did you just pick up the paws and you started getting information?
I just picked up the paws. Like, the reason they brought up about 5 psychics from Vancouver, and we transported up there together just to do fundraising for the animals, basically, in the community. Because what happens is a lot of students move to Whistler thinking, I'm going to go skiing all year, and I'll work in a restaurant and make money, and I'll spend all my money going skiing. So they live in a tiny little condo, and they're lonely because they're without their family, because they're young. They might be in university or whatever. And a whole bunch of them get a new pet, and then they end up leaving town and going back to wherever they came from. And so the place that takes the pets is totally full of all these pets they can't find homes for. So we were doing some fundraising so that they could create a better facility and have more financial resources for the amount of animals that kind of get left behind. So it was only kind of a fundraising thing. We were just going to kind of do it for almost like a joke, but it was no joke. It was totally serious. Animals are totally serious. You can give an animal reading, no problem. It was awesome. It was such a cool experience. I don't have any pets, so for me, it blew my mind. It was great.
Yeah. That's excellent, Paisley.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful, and it reminds me of I put out on my sign on the street free Tibetan Mastiff hugs, and people come in to hug Wyatt. But I could, if you were doing a fundraiser, you could do free Basset Hound hugs,
exactly.
$1 a hug, and get that one dog who's like, yeah, sure, hug me, pet me, I don't care.
Yeah. Shameless pet, right?
Yeah, that shameless slut pet. I love everybody. Here, give me a kiss. So,
So I have a question. Is there a question about Agnes?
He just wanted to know anything that you could tell him about Agnes, his dog.
Okay. Well, I'm tuning into Agnes, and what I will tell you, and I'm kind of using both things. Agnes is a sweetie. I'm going to tell you that. She is a sweetheart, and she has a big heart, and she is, but she's got a feisty personality behind all of that, I think. She's got some spunk there. Well, how old is she now? She's 10. So she's got some spunk, but she is, more than anything, she feels things really deeply. And I'm just wondering if she has, does she sometimes get how's her stomach? Does she, I don't mean from a that there's something wrong with it. I mean, does she get an upset stomach? Does she get her feelings hurt? Does she seems to be a dog that's got some, just wears her heart on her sleeve kind of thing. and I feel like there's like maybe a little anxiety sometimes for her. Nothing overwhelming, but just, you know, every so often that sort of can come up for her. She's got a really, really big soul, a really big soul. That's really probably the most important thing. And she's so happy to be in her family. She's got a lot of nurturing energy in her family partnership energy. So I feel that's me looking at the astrology. But I do get that she's, you know, she's a sweetheart.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Wyatt's probably going to type his response in the chat room over to Elizabeth, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, and when he gives a response, I'll let you know as soon as he's there.
Okay.
And,
It's really fascinating what you're saying, too. It makes a lot of sense about the stomach and the emotions because, like, you know, when I do readings for certain number patterns of people, I get medical information in the body as well as doing the numerology, but sometimes I pick up, like, digestion issue or food allergy or things like that. And it's to do with like nurturing the self, like feeding yourself. So when someone's not taking good care of themselves, the digestion issues kind of show themselves to light more. So it's interesting the way that you explained it. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, good.
About the little doggy.
Okay, and so Wyatt has responded, and I can see part of it, but I've got a chat window open. She has some cancerous lumps, and I can't see where they are, but the doctors won't operate. And we're wondering if you can tune in to that.
Okay. Well, what I'm feeling, she's a fighter. She's a fighter, and she has the best. She's putting the best face forward on it. The feeling I get from her, the feeling of what it feels like to me is she wants you to feel okay. She understands what's going on, but she feels fine, and she's fine with it. Whatever can be done, she understands it's being done, and she's okay with whatever decisions that you make. She's very even. There's a very even feeling I feel about her. I feel like she feels tired sometimes, but I don't feel like she's in pain. At least not pain that is, you know, it's not an overwhelming thing. She's an older dog. I sense a little bit of that, but I don't sense that she just feels like she is happy to be with you. She is satisfied with whatever's being done. And I don't feel that she's ill at ease with that at all. That's what I get.
Wow, that's a beautiful reading. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Just to let folks know, my computer has started to freeze up, so I'm not able to scroll really quickly and ask your questions right away. But in lieu of being able to do that, waiting for my computer, which has stopped responding, to respond. This is what Wyatt says. He says she's a good baby, and she almost lost her to a couple of years ago, but didn't, to kidney stones. He wants to know if he will know when it's time for her to go.
You know, I believe that he will, because there is a connection that he has with her, and almost more importantly, a connection that she has with him. She has a very strong, nurturing connection to Wyatt. It's just very, very apparent, and there is no way that he will not know. There's no way that he will not know.
I totally agree with that. And Wyatt's really, like, his heart's so open that he could heal you just by sitting next to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's very apathetic, yeah.
And she's a soul that has been here before, and she is a soul that came in with an energy of hardship from other lives. And so she came in with the understanding that life can be like this, but yet she is so happy to be where she is. Her soul path is in a very mystical, spiritual place. So, and I'm reading that, but I also, as I'm feeling that she feels very, very much aligned with this lifetime and the beauty of coming into life with someone like Wyatt. So that all is working out for her, and I feel that that's part of the energy that I'm feeling about her nurturing, loving energy that she has.
Beautiful.
Really good. Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you, Wyatt, for asking.
Yeah.
And okay, so I am, not to make this about me, but I did have the other students in animal communication class read Joe's owl. Now, this is a wild owl, but it hangs out with Joe at night. So since you didn't come to practice, Robin.
Oh, no, I'm being put on the spot.
You're being put on the spot. And Paisley and I can talk about something else while you go and read Joe's owl.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Do we know how old the owl is, Elizabeth? Or
no, we don't. And I'm not going to say anything else because we've actually, our Keith Andrews has talked about the owl a little bit on Friday.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
And
I'm finding it really interesting. I was going to ask Robin this question, but Elizabeth, can I just ask you quickly? It's not a reading question, but regarding animals. So, for example, when I get readings from readers who don't do numerology, who do other special gifts, very often in my readings with other psychics who don't know me, they often will bring up about my cats, except I don't have cats. So if I have 10 readings, I get 9 psychics that tell me, oh, what about your cats? Like 9 out of 10 readers will bring up cats. And I don't have cats, and I haven't had a cat for almost forever. Like really, literally, like decades. I had a kitten for maybe 2 months. But I don't have pets. So is there any reason why do you think it would be a past life thing that cats come up?
Absolutely. I think it would be cats, familiar cats from the past that are not coming in this time for whatever reason, but they are still in your space and they are still helping you out as your pets. And it happens sometimes that way, that you'll get animals from a past life coming in. I have a big white wolfish dog that is not my dog right now, and I haven't ever owned. So, it happens.
Interesting. Yeah. And how are we doing, Robin? Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm getting, yes. Yeah, yes. Mm-hmm. I was going to ask a question about the owl. Is this a horned owl?
If it is, it's female, because I don't see horns on the picture.
Okay, because when I was getting some information, I wrote down he or she because it felt like a female to me, and I feel initially the feeling that I got drew me to her head and her eyes, and she's watching and like she's keeping an eye on Joe and the environment. There's something that is important to her about watching and being watchful. Is there something about, is there anything to do with how she is she around during the day and not at night, and things that are unusual like that? I feel like there's something unusual about her, the way she interacts. but I can't quite get what that is.
She's getting closer and closer to him. And he tends to sit and watch the stars and the animals at night outside, and she's been getting closer and closer. But she's also been flying up to him if I'm on the phone with him. I know that's too much information, but she'll fly in when I'm on the phone. So
okay. Well, I mean, I'm probably getting as much as I'm going to get, but I'm getting that she is. I get this real distinct feeling about her watching, like everything is drawing me to her eyes, and how she's just there's an energy that they're sharing, that she's feeding from and that he's feeding into, and it's obviously got to be a nurturing, loving energy, of course, but she feels very comfortable, and I'm almost getting this idea that it's like he's a replacement for something in her life. That sort of has come to me. That like he's sort of like a familiar. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Really interesting.
Yeah. So maybe she's lost something. She's lost. I don't know the biology of owls in terms of their monogamy or whether they're not or how they are. But she, it feels like she's lost something, and he is filling the void for her.
Really neat.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So that's what I get. Yeah.
Thank you for Joe. And we're gonna move on. We don't have any callers right now. If you have a question in chat, anybody in Spreaker,
yes, we do. We do. So Tessa is asking Robin, can you tell me if my 15-year-old dog Gilly, like Gillie, is in pain?
Okay.
There's a lot of chatting going on in the Spreaker chat room about intravenous coffee. People are working night shifts, listening to our radio station and trying to stay awake while they're at work. Do you need a couple of minutes, Robin?
Oh, just maybe another minute. I'll be
sure.
So
interesting, Elizabeth, that you were talking about animal communication stuff, because this coming Saturday night on August 12th, I'm teaching, co-hosting a class. We're going to talk about dowsing rods. Like, we're going to talk about them, demonstrate them, and we're going to build some dowsing rods in our class using hangers and straws. Have you ever played with those? They're really fun.
No.
Yeah, they're super cool. So usually what I do for that class is I hide things in the classroom before the students get there. I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag. And then we use the dowsing rods to find the objects that are hidden in the class. And the second topic, I'm having a guest speaker come in who's an animal communicator, just like you, Elizabeth. And she's going to ask the students to bring in photographs of their pet. Like last year we had a turtle and we had a parrot and cat and dog, like really cool animals brought in photo. And we're going to connect with their energy either on this plane or in spirit using animal communication. So that's coming up this weekend.
That's excellent.
Yeah, super fun.
May I share about Gillie?
Yeah.
What I feel from Gillie is she feels. I feel like when I settle into the energy, she feels like she is stiff to me, but it's mostly in her hips. I feel it's slight pain in the hips, but nothing acute. It's more of a chronic stiffness into pain there. And I'm wondering if she probably has a little bit of difficulty getting up and down, possibly. But she feels tired from that stiffness, which sometimes feels painful in her hips, is what I feel.
So we're just waiting for a reply back from Tessa. There's a little bit of a delay in the chat room, but we can check in on that. Wow, it's so amazing how detailed and how specific you can be with the animals. It's fabulous.
Well,
I've got a reply, from Tessa. She is stiff, but she seems happy, she says.
She is a happy girl. That's what I was feeling as well. Just a very satisfied. Satisfied was the word that came to me. Just very quietly satisfied.
Perfect. So Tessa's saying thank you very much. It made sense to her.
Oh, great.
And she does have trouble getting up. She's confirming that as well.
Excellent. Thank you. We have a question from Dave. And Dave, if you're listening, we'd like to know where you were born. But he is starting a new job. And his birthday is May 24th, 1973, and we are waiting on where. And the job begins September 6th, 2017. And he was born in Abbotsford, British Columbia.
Okay. And who's the question for? Is this for Robin?
Let's try either of you. We've got some time.
Yeah. Sure. Well, she's doing the astrology, so if you don't mind, Robin, I'm just going to jump in.
Oh, absolutely, Paisley, of course.
So starting a new job. Well, September 6th is an amazing day for Dave to start the new job because the 6th is an air day, and the name Dave is a 6. Usually Daves are born into the name David, which is a 1, but the name Dave, if it's a common, very often David's too formal. It's just on the birth papers, and everyone calls it Dave. Dave, like, hey, how's it going, Dave? So being Dave is a 6 and having the interview on the 6th is really good. Very generous, compassionate, healing, helpful soul who gets along with all personality types unless there is some kind of betrayal. If someone doesn't reveal the whole truth, or even for example in a job interview, if the employer makes it seem like it's going to be like this, but actually in reality it's like that, which is completely like the opposite of what's like, any kind of betrayal just like won't work at all. So the cards have to be on the table, and Dave can bring a lot of really a lot of goodness and a lot of knowledge and a lot of compassion and a lot of motivation to the position. Really, it's a good day, September 6th.
That is awesome. That's what I was getting too, but I'm not supposed to be reading, so I can't do any more than say thumbs up. I get that too.
Oh, good. Okay.
Great. And then go ahead, Robin.
Okay, I was just going to say, from an astrological perspective, looking at your birth chart, Dave, I see that you're a sun sign in a Cancer sun sign, which means that you're, a Gemini sun sign. And that tells me that you have a lot of air quality energy, which is intellectual stimulation, inspiration. Lots of your mind works it's like an open, I think of one of those cartoon balloons where there's just words and information coming in and out. You process, and you're able to look at things from many different angles. And that's the beauty of that active, vital energy that you have with your sun energy. Your moon energy is in this moon energy that we're experiencing right now with the lunar eclipse, that independent, nurturing energy, which is also in an air sign. So again, more of an intellectual, spirited experience for that. What flavors all of that for me are a couple of things. One is that at your ascendant, which is that rising sign on the horizon as you were born, which is that energy that we tend to show ourselves to others. That sun sign that we have is something that we know and it's always there, but the you that you often show to others is this rising sign energy, and yours is in Capricorn. So it's that really ambitious energy, that nose to the grindstone. I'm going to get up that mountain. I don't need anybody watching me. I can do it on my own. I have everything that I need. And that's a really beautiful, encouraging energy for anyone doing anything in a work environment, specifically because Capricorn rules the environment or house of careers and reputation. So that's a beautiful energy to be experiencing and really moving yourself forward in the world. The thing that colors all of that, which it might be a cautionary thing for you, or it may be that you've learned something from previous experiences, is that in your environment of intellectual journeying and education and philosophical understanding, you've had some hiccups, you've had some bumps in the road, you've had some transformations, and some of them might have happened relatively quickly. So, but the good thing is that energy, and I'm speaking of Plutonian energy and Uranian energy, they're in this beautiful sign of Libra, which is very balancing and harmonious energy. So while that may have happened and has helped you sort of evolve who you are and where you are, it's all with the idea and the endpoint of balance, which I think brings us to September 6th, 2017, which means that everything bodes well for you to move this forward into a positive experience.
Oh, wow. Dave, that's awesome. And that sounds like Dave.
Yeah.
I know Dave very well. So
yeah, okay.
Thanks. So, yes, we have some callers, and we want to welcome in callers next. We have area code 336. Hello.
That would be me. The
Hi,
preacher,
you.
Eric Markham himself.
Hey, preacher.
What's up?
I'm just chilling here with Robin and Paisley. What's your question, and who's it for?
It's for me.
Okay.
I feel like something is about to break loose. I just feel like there's something unsettled, and I can't put my finger on it myself. I think I'm too close to too close to it. So I was just wondering if I could get a general read and see what I had to watch for, or should I dread it, or should I, look forward to it.
Eric, can you give us your birthday, please?
May 4th, 1963.
And where were you born?
Muncie, Indiana.
Muncie, Indiana. Wow, that's cool.
Okay. All right.
And
I'm
I
not
wish...
Go ahead, Elizabeth. Oh, I was just going to say it's Eric with a C, like E-R-I-C, in case Robin needs that. I'm not sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Of course. Sorry, Elizabeth, go ahead.
No, it's so sad I'm not reading because I'm like, it just went splat all over my face, but I'm going to let Paisley do it. And it was like, splat.
I think you should chime in.
No, I can't. I promised the boss I wouldn't do it. So,
okay.
Eric, you can PM me later if you want, if this doesn't help you out. But yeah, I get both. When you say, should I be excited or should I be dreading it? It's like both.
Yes, absolutely. And it's interesting, Eric, that your question is like, A or Z, like, which direction, like this or that. And being born on May 4th, like May is a water number, which is 5, and the 4th day is a fire number. And actually Robin's birthday is a 4 too, so she's got a 4 in there. So when you combine the water with the fire, it's how things are for you. Like things are black and white, things are right and wrong, things are like scientific or chaotic. Do you know what I mean? Like so
yeah.
either A or Z will work very, very well for you. It doesn't matter which choice you choose. Like if you go with the happy and excited, that's going to work. And if you go with don't get too excited, don't get your hopes up, that's going to work too, because your personality is such that no matter what, like you'll make lemonade if you need to make lemonade, and then you'll you'll sell the lemonade to the people that give you lemons, so you'll make money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like there's not a wrong answer, and I'm not trying to be evasive, but either way works well.
I'm usually a pretty hard read because of all the different. I think Paisley did a spread for me one time. It's like I've got a little bit of each symbol. A little fire, a little water, a little air. It's like there's always all these competing forces.
Yes. Did that make sense at all to you, Eric, what I said? Could you
it
speak to
does,
that,
actually.
what's going on? Yeah. And we'll see what Robin has to say, because
I've got mixed feelings about everything, too, so.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you're a very independent soul, Eric. And so if someone tries to tell you how to do something or when to do something or why you should do something, that's not going to fly with you. So basically someone needs to go, hello, here's what we need to provide for you, and here's your paycheck, and see you later. Like that's kind of your ideal situation.
That's pretty much, yeah.
So I'm anxious
pretty
to
well
see
bang
what
on.
Robin's getting. Oh, good. Robin, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So Eric, your sun sign is in Taurus, which being a Taurian, you understand the senses. You understand the physical material, what something feels like, tastes like, smells like. Those are things that are important to you in terms of how you manifest what's around you. And it's a matter of making things feel secure and comfortable and satisfying for you. So that's a real key part of your personality. You also have this. It's an earth sign, so it's all of those things that are very material and earthy and sensual in that way, in the idea of feeling, seeing, sensing. You're also this sign that's coming up over the horizon, your rising sign, which is that energy that you show to the world. It's the sort of the stained glass through which you are seen, is also a very strong earth sign. It's Capricorn. It's that very ambitious energy of, it can be the energy of solitude sometimes, but it's usually the energy of self-reliance, which comes very close to Taurian energy. So you've got these two really strong earth-like energies together. And then you have your moon. Your moon is the third large energy. It again is in an earth sign, in Virgo. Different earth, different kind of earth. It's Virgo is discerning and very exacting. It can be very wanting to be very precise about something, but also nurturing from the sense of being the energy that wants to be of help and of service to others. So you have a real predominance of this really grounded, earthy energy. I would well imagine that you have people in your life, be they your family or your work colleagues or any organizations that you're affiliated with, that really like to be near you and like your input because you provide the grounding for them. What I would say about that is that part of your sense, I have two things I would suspect about this sense of something's about to open up, is that you're at a point in your life where now you're ready to look at energy that is a little different than that. You're looking for complementary energy, which I mean that with an E, C-O-M-P-L-E, complementing something as an adjunct to something. So, and the reason I say that is predominantly because here you have these major earth signs. You have other energy in your chart. You have all the other elements in your chart, but not in those big three energetics. But the other piece that's really, I think, important is that there's a pathway from which we come into this world either from another lifetime, if we choose to believe in reincarnation, and where our soul wants to move into this life. What's our life path? And your life path moves from this earthy energy and groundedness in self, and it's moving what it wants to do is it wants to understand and integrate and negotiate partnership in a very watery element, which is moon energies in the sign of Cancer. It's the opposite energy of Capricorn. It's not opposite in the sense of good versus bad. It's the opposite in something that we're really trying to put it together. So complementing, I can see that what you might be looking for an opening is this nurturing energy. Think of the moon. Think of the mother. Think of the idea of caretaking. The idea of a large hug. Anything that brings that idea of love from that perspective. That's Cancer energy. Cancer energy is more like a universal love energy. So you're moving from this solitude to this partnership, to this negotiation point, and you're almost at that juncture. You're very close also to your. I'm going to digress a little here, and I hope I don't get too technical.
Don't do it, because we've got to move on. But I'm going to, Eric, what I saw has exactly everything to do with the last three things she said. So I'll talk to you.
I'll say it quickly, Eric. You're almost what we call your second Saturn return, which is a huge, impactful life transition. So this is the energy that you're feeling. Okay.
Okay. That makes
really
a lot
good,
of sense.
Really good, but really a change, and change to your structure. So
it's a huge thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna change everything, and that'll be a pain. But then it'll be good at the same time. We've got another call. Thank you, Eric. We've only got a few minutes. We've got
Eric.
5 minutes, and we're gonna take a call from 971 area code 971. How are you?
Hi. Good. I have a question, and I don't know if you guys can answer it tonight or not. I am looking to find out if my grandfather will ever move out of my house. My name is Joyce Terry. My birthday is 10/19/74, and I was born in Newburgh, Oregon.
Okay, so while Robin's doing the astrology on that, 10/19/74, I'm just adding up the numbers.
Yes.
Sorry, can you ask the question again about your grandfather?
Will he ever move out of my house?
Yeah, we don't get that question, so click no. That's an awesome question. That's so cute and so irritating.
It was only supposed to be a temporary situation, and it's been like 3 years now. So I'm
Joyce,
ready.
what's your grandfather's first name?
Daryl.
Darryl?
Derrald.
Oh, Derrald. Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know his birthday? I don't need the year, but just his date of birth.
6/14.
Oh, interesting. Is he there to create balance about something? Is he there because there was a fight or there was something that was imbalanced, and he was there to take care of the balance?
No.
Okay.
No. He was here because of recovery.
Okay. You don't have to tell me more. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Joyce, this would be like really hard on you because you like to be alone and you like to be social. So I would say there's parts of times where you love it that he's there and you don't love it that he's there. It'd be like, it'd be actually a really challenging situation for someone with your birthday to be in, because I don't know if you heard the show earlier when I was talking to Elizabeth about the 1 and the 2 being really opposite. The name Joyce is a 2, and being born in the 10th month is a 1, and being born on the 19th is a 1. So you've got that 1-2 like opposing energy as well. But you don't want to hurt anyone. And if he doesn't come up with a solution to get out, something's going to come flying out of your mouth because you can't keep it in. Like you might have little teeth marks on your tongue from biting your tongue because eventually what happens with your birthday is the frustration becomes too much and it just comes out. So have you asked him questions about when he's leaving?
Financially, it's not possible right at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was a creative idea.
Right. So your question isn't when is he going to move out? Your question is how can we make it possible for him to create a different financial situation for himself so that he can take the next step, kind of thing, right?
Yes. Or we can help him with that.
Awesome. Since we're running out of time, I'm going to pass this over to Robin. Sorry, Robin. I'm just going to see.
Okay. Oh, no worries. No worries. Joyce, what I was going to say is the predominance of energy in your chart speaks to the fact that you have what we call a stellium, which means a bunch of planets in one place, which puts that energy on steroids. And that's where your sun is. It's in Libra, which you know. Libra is the house of
And I have like 5 planets in Libra. Yes.
Yes, you do. You have 5 planets there, and they're transformative kind of planets and very key planets. And what I want to say about that, it's in the environment of communication. It's in the environment of perception, listening, speaking, understanding, that kind of thing. So the energy that you have to bring forward in this particular circumstance are all of those energies. Is to you will always be able to speak in a way that is balanced because that's what comes naturally. I'm not going to. Let me restate. You may not always speak that way, but your heart will always come from there because that's where your active vital energy stems from. It's also where your Venus energy is. But you also have Pluto there, which means that you can speak things that are very caustic at times. So you've got a little bit of all of that energy. My recommendation here is that you have this energy for a reason. You came in with this energy, and that's you are the negotiator. You are the way out. Libra is the sign of the negotiator.
So basically, keep talking about it.
Keep talking.
Okay. Keep talking, and and I'm not supposed to be reading, but since we have to wrap it up, what I see is that if you keep talking about it, you might have 6 more months. But at least that's better than nothing because you're talking about it puts the energy into it happening and finding a solution versus just being frustrated.
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. That's well done. Well said.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Joyce.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And I sorry to cut in, but I wanted to wrap her up because we do need to get going. Paisley, if people want to get a reading with you, how do they contact you?
PaisleyTown.com, and I'm on Facebook and the internet, and I do Skype and phone readings for all over North America.
Excellent. And Robin?
To get a hold of me, my email is Robin, ROBYN Fink, FINK, at Comcast.net.
Excellent. And as we're going forward, we have some, we're going into the Lion's Gate, Robin. If you could say 1 or 2 things to people to help them get through this time or use the time wisely, what would it be?
It would be to pay attention to your feelings. That's moon energy. And the moon is the secret to happiness. So those would be my words.
Excellent. Pay attention and meditate. And we are on spacedoutradio.com. We want to thank everybody who's listening. Tomorrow night on Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott, he has a lovely guest, Mark O'Connell, talking about close encounters of the third kind. Will be up at 9 p.m. Pacific time, 12 a.m. Eastern time at spacedoutradio.com. Don't miss it. We love our close encounters of the third kind. This is Elizabeth Anglin on Cosmic Passport Psychic Sunday. I'll be here every Sunday, and next week we're going to be getting nerdy with preacher Eric Markham, we hope, if all goes well. And we're going to be talking about some of our favorite paranormal, but also ethical, moral, scientific, because we're nerdy, we're scientifically nerdy like that, subjects in the paranormal with Preacher. Life after death, life before death, that sort of thing. We want to say to everybody on WQE 99 Rock the Key, thanks for listening. SpacedOutRadio.com. We love you guys, all of you. Renegade Talk Radio, High Plains Talk Radio Network, and KTLK The Fringe. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We hope we have many more nights where we can hang out with you all and talk about everything paranormal, from Bigfoot to aliens, from psychics to astrologers to numerologists. This is Elizabeth Anglin signing off. Good night, y'all.